Okay, I think this is working. So, hello, welcome. This is Sandra Beliski from Real World Learners. And on Facebook, you'll know me. I've changed my name to Raising Math Superstars. So you'll see me interacting in the group as Raising Math Superstars. So I had three kind of discussion prompts that I wanted to talk with you guys about today. And before I dive into those, I wanted to say if you're here, let me know whether you're watching the replay or you're watching this live. I'd love to know where you're from. And I'm especially interested if you've used any of Real World Learners products before, any of the courses or anything that has been in the vendor hall. Checking my notes here. So I wanted to say the three questions that I wanted to start with today are, should we be making learning fun? So kind of a general question. Should we be making learning fun for our kids? If so, how do we make math in particular fun? And do games help in that whole process? So I want to start off with a not quite so obvious answer to that. Should we be making learning fun? So I think there's a kind of two directions to take on this. First of all, going in the direction of going kind of overboard to try to gamify everything and make everything exciting, super motivating for kids. And I think we don't necessarily need to go that far in with every single concept. There's value at times just to learning how to sit down and get some work done. So I'm not on one extreme or the other in the products I create and the mission behind Real World Learners. But I do believe that math can be and should be fun. And a big part of that is that children really are born with the intrinsic desire to learn. And we are sense-making beings. We always are looking for ways to make sense of our world and how pieces fit together, why we're doing what we're doing. The most common question as a math teacher I would always get is, why do we need to learn this? And that's such a fundamental question and can be and should be answered at every turn. Why are we doing this? What does it mean? So as I've transitioned from the classroom, I've taught middle and high school math, and now I'm homeschooling my own kids and creating math courses and math resources. And I've named Real World Learners kind of as my umbrella name based on four words. So REAL. R is for relevant, E is for engaging, A is for authentic, L is for lifelong. So I've started off kind of broad with Real World Learners, and I've narrowed the topic to mostly math because that's really where my passion and focus is. But all of those four apply to everything that I create as I'm tutoring, everything that I'm doing with math. So yes, math can be fun. Math should be fun because intrinsically math is fun. And if we put kids in an environment where they're able to discover math, discover why it works, how it works, see it in these four things, see that it's relevant to what they're doing, see that it's engaging, so they're not just being told something passively, but they're getting hands-on experience and they're really seeing how they can interact with the concepts. Authentic, so not just, there will always be, this is kind of with everything, there's a spectrum of this. So, but the more it can lean towards all of these, the better. So the more authentic we can make things that it really relates to their life and they can enter into it and see themselves understanding and doing this, the better. And then lifelong, so they're not just checking something off and moving on. And then I'm kind of going to add to that, it doesn't fit in the Real World Learners, but add to that games, because although I started off by saying we don't need to gamify the entire learning experience, my balance to that is games are and can be a very valuable learning experience because it's a platform, a tool that kids can use in large part to replace worksheets. So as they're playing games, and there's a whole world of games that focus on different skills or have skills built into them, different levels of that. I can do a whole nother talk on that another time. But games with a focus on math can help kids really get confident in their skills and So you're boosting their skills and you're boosting their confidence, because when they're playing games, they're in a much more relaxed state of mind. They're not working to appease somebody else. They're not constantly asking, did I do this one right? Checking the answer key. Is this good enough? But they have their own internal motivation. This applies to games specifically, but in general to everything that I try to do to create the math experience, is really getting at that intrinsic motivation and not working just to appease somebody else, not working just to check something off a list, but giving kids ownership in what they're doing. And we're back. Okay, hopefully it says on my end that we're back, so if you can let me know if it's showing up here, and I will refresh my second browser here, my phone. Okay, so this all was a lead-in, if I don't know how much of that got lost here, to my series on math for fun. So with all of that as the background on why am I calling math a fun subject, what's my burden behind creating a fun math activity, I'm still making sure. Okay, it says I'm live. Yeah, give me any feedback to let me know if this is working. I don't know if this started a whole second stream or not, but this is the internet. Okay, I'll just continue. Okay, this series of units will eventually be 10 units long at least. There's currently 5 of them, and I've brought my little display copy today to show. The one I just finished is all about time. So I am working my way through all of the themes in math. You've heard me talk about my complete course on developing number sense, so that kind of hits the fundamentals, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. But then I want to go through and pick up all the other themes, the strands of math. So we have, let me just show you what we have here. And I will switch to screen share because I know this is not the best way to show something. But we have the time unit, which I just did, statistics and graphs, and all of these have 24 activities in them. I'll talk a little bit more about what they are. Unit on geometry, unit on math art. This is one of my, well, by the time I'm done with them, they're all my favorite. I have a lot of fun making these and seeing kids use them. And then on money. And then we also have coming up a complete unit on math history, on proportional reasoning, so the ever elusive concept of fractions, measurement, maybe logic, probability, maybe something more specific with graphing. So I'll have a unit for each of these concepts, and each of these units is designed for K through 5th grade, very roughly. But as you'll see, every activity in these units, okay, thank you, Jessica, for letting me know that it is working, and I didn't realize I could see that on the same screen here, so that's good feedback in both ways. Okay, so yeah, this is for approximately grades kindergarten through 5th grade, and I only put a cap on 5th grade because I've personally found that, it looks like I lost my stream again. I personally found that once kids get into middle school and higher, it's just a little bit harder to get them to buy into math for fun units. But if you're doing this as a family, which I highly encourage, I think math should and can really be done really well as a family unit. And that's what these are designed to help promote, is to get older siblings helping younger siblings. Because often that sibling interaction or working with friends gives kids, again, that intrinsic motivation to understand something well enough to explain it. And then younger kids can hear it better sometimes from older siblings or friends than they can from us. So I've created all of these with that thought in mind. With my own kids, I do have them do it together, and then with other families, as I've done test runs through these, I've encouraged them to work together on this. And I've seen that go really well, and that's exciting for me to see. So how does it work? How can you have one math activity that's good for 5 through 10-year-olds? Every activity in here is differentiated, so there's a level A and a level B. And I don't have grade or age levels attached to that because I don't want anybody to feel like they're being put in a box. Math is math. We can do a lot to put it in categories and put grade levels and age levels on it, but absolutely, that's all, in my mind, artificial. There's a progression that you can go through, but you don't have to be 7 years old before you learn how to read an analog clock. You don't have to be, etc. forever. So I don't have age or grade levels on these, but I have a holistic math experience where they're going through concepts. And a lot of these are not these are not sets of worksheets. A lot of these are open-ended activities where they're exploring math art, they're exploring time, geometry, all of these. There are answer keys for things that apply, but a lot of them don't even have answer keys because the experience sets them up to, for example, for one of the statistics one, grab at the nearest book, count the number of words on a page, count the number of times the letter E appears, then they eventually, the higher level, graph it out and they draw a line of best fit through it, and they find the average number of times the letter E appears, and then they can do it the same with different letters. So that's just a snippet of what I mean when I say this applies to multiple levels and can really be done with ages together. So that's a big thought behind these units. And of course, the other big thought behind it is that kids would have fun with math. So I know that everybody has their own experience choosing a math curriculum. At this point, I'm not set up to be a complete all-in-one curriculum. I do hope to get there someday, but at this point I have my fundamental course, Developing Number Sense, and then I have these side by side. And perhaps one day it can be integrated as a whole K through 5 approach and you won't need anything else, but at the moment they are supplemental. But the goal is to give kids a positive experience with math, give them something unique, give them something that relates to their real world, something they can do together so they don't feel like everybody's isolated doing one thing, and also feel like they're not doing isolated skills, but a lot of things really relate. So, of course, the example on the top of my head, because I just did the time unit, as you're learning to read a clock, you're learning multiplication in a sense because you're counting by fives. You can learn to go count and add backwards and forwards as you're looking through time. So anyways, there's also a lot of integration built into these units. So with that as another introduction, and I might be on my third video here because I keep losing the stream, but I'm going to persevere and then I'll go back and see how this turned out. Okay, so instead of trying to show you with my camera, I'm going to switch over to a screen share and just show you. If we were at a vendor hall, I could actually sit down with you and show you what these packets look like. So this is kind of my attempt at doing the same thing. And if you have any questions or comments or just want to let me know that you can still see me, that would all be very helpful. And I'll have my stream pulled up here on on my phone, if I can get it.
Hi, Mommy.
Hi, buddy.
I thought this is what.
Hey, I'm on live. Come back.
This was supposed to be.
Okay, this is very real life. I'm not sure if that's coming up. Okay, so here we have the time unit. So every unit, there's an introduction, is designed to be fun, fast, real world, hands-on, and differentiated so that kids of all ages can go through it together. Okay, so this unit, the main part of it are the 24 activities. And I've done 24 primarily because it fits well on a bingo board. And that's how I originally designed this. So I'm going to scroll down here. So my original thought with these units was that kids would cross off activities on bingo boards. So they don't necessarily have to go through the activities in order. But as they go, they'll check off the activity and they'll check off whether they did level A or B. And then if they did at least 5 in a row, kind of bingo style, then they get a prize at the end. So most units have kind of an activity prize. This unit I did something a little bit different, and I'm going to scroll up to the colored version, so sorry for the crazy scroll here. I provided a game. So this one is the race against time. There's 2 spinners, there's directions there, there's a racetrack. And I do have a free version of this. That's the other thing I was going to lead with. I have a free sample version, of this entire set. So I will include a link to that at the end here. Okay. Sorry, the fact that it keeps breaking my stream kind of threw me for a loop here, but I'm back. Okay, so we have the set of 24 activities in a full color version and then black and white also. There's the bingo boards, or get 5 in a row, so they can cross off the activities. Adds another element of intrinsic motivation to that. There's the prize, which in this case is a game that they can play. And again, they can play this across ages. So whether you're doing this with friends or with siblings, or just parents and kids together can do that. Okay, so let me show you an example of differentiation. So this whole unit is on time. So we focus on the skills of just related to reading a clock, but it's not a worksheet-based program. So what I mean by that is, let me find a good example here. Okay, so part of it is they go through, record their start time. So level A would be the time they personally start all these activities. Level B, so the same activity but taking it up a notch, elapsed time, monitoring how long something lasted. And then they answer follow-up questions about that. Here's a level A and level B example. How long does it take? So kind of guesstimating how long each of these activities would take and then coming up with their own version of it. Here's an example about digital numbers. So this, again, kind of breaks beyond the textbook, just gives them a kind of unique way to think about it. So the fact that numbers on a digital clock are designed around this rectangle shape. So how would you build these numbers on the rectangle shapes? Thinking about the difference between how digital and analog clocks work. I'm going to scroll a little bit faster here. Okay, I want to talk about these two in particular. One of the families who follows me on Raising Math Superstars gave me the idea to do thinking forward through time and thinking backwards through time. And I loved that idea, so I built these activities around it. So one of them is, what time will it be? So you're planning a party and you have all these events happening in the day. So for level A, the numbers are a lot easier. This is the length of time since the previous event. You're working through your party planning and then figuring out what time will it happen. And then the numbers are more complex for level B, but it's essentially the same activity. And then working backwards through time. So you have an example, Molly and Polly want to meet their friends at 3 o'clock, but they need to get done a certain number of things first, so they work their way through that. And then you say, by the end of it, if they wake up at 9 a.m., will they have enough time? So I think this is kind of representative of some of the activities in this, where my focus is giving them a way to think outside the box, have some point of context for why it matters, why they care, how it works, and then thinking more theoretically. So there's a lot of things in this unit, in all of these units, that are more theoretical. How does time feel? We kind of get a sense for what time is. Measuring time, you have time zones. We have the distance equals rate times time formula, thinking through that. We talk about light years and what that means, how that's a measurement of distance, not time. And then we have some math experiments. In almost every one of these units, we have math experiments. So here we have make a water clock and then make a sundial. So there's instructions for both of those. And then they make a calendar. Okay, so that is a pretty thorough flip through there of the unit. And I do want to leave you guys with a link for the free sample. So let me see if I can do that. So I've put together this, every unit is designed to take a month, but one second here. Okay. Okay, so sorry, it's designed to take about a month. It's broken up into 24 activities that are really meant to be bite-sized. So if you do one a day, it will take about a month to get through. You can go faster or slower through that. But I've given you 1 week. Is this going to work? Yes. A full 1 week sample of the time unit, which I've just dropped the link for that. So you can pick up that as just a link to Google Drive. So you should be able to download that directly. And then It reconnected me again. I'm sorry, this is so glitchy. Okay, I'm gonna just end on this note because Facebook doesn't seem to want me to be here. All of these are available, both individually. So each of these is individually $6.50 on Teachers Pay Teachers. Although the current unit on time is $3.50, just for $3.25. It's half price for another couple days. I'll put the link to that in just a minute here. And then you can get the entire set of them. Sorry, you didn't necessarily need to see all of that. Okay, you can get the entire set of these for the current price at a discount. So the current price for all of them you can get for $24, and then the next 5 or more that will be added in, you'll get for free. So at whatever point you purchase it, you get the rest of the set for free, and they're added in about once a month. So I will leave the links to both of those. I may have to do that after this video is over. Thank you so much for those of you who stuck with me through all of these Facebook booting me out. Actually, I'll take a minute right now to drop the links if you are interested in any of these, but give me just a second here. And feel free to ask questions, leave comments. Let me know if you've used any of these kinds of products before. And I will grab a link. So this first one is everything is 50% off in my TPT store. The first day, my tabs are directly underneath my camera, so that's why I'm doing this strange duck and dive here. Okay, so that's the link to the individual latest one. If you would like the complete set, the coupon code is on this website that I'm about to show here. You can get the whole set for $24, and then everything else added in as I added in. Okay. I don't see any more questions, but if you're watching the replay and have any questions, just let me know. I realized how ridiculous that duck and dive looked. Okay, thank you all for watching me, and I look forward to working with you more and seeing you in the future. Take care.